I have been working since I was 12. Not chores and an allowance working for someone else. And sometimes it feels like all I know is to work for my worth. Can you relate? Welcome to the weekly recharge. I'm Renae, former firefighter paramedic, current burnout recovery expert, and full time recovering overachiever. If you're new here, this is where I read you the letter I wrote this week. That's it. No guest, no agenda, just me thinking out loud about burnout, hustle culture, and what it takes to stop performing your life and start living it. Plus, usually one practical thing that can go along with it. So grab your coffee, your lunch, or don't. Do nothing at all. Honestly, that's kind of the point of these. But if it relates, feel free to subscribe to the Hustle Rebels podcast and the weekly recharge newsletter in the show notes. So let's get back into it. At 14, I was waitressing at a local restaurant under the table because I was too young to legally be there. In high school, I petitioned for early release at 1 p.m. I had all AP courses, I had earned it, and I used that freedom to go to work at Dunkin' Donuts on weekdays and waitress on weekends for some more cash. And on top of that, there's sports, musicals, jazz bands, youth group, you name it. I was in it. I want you to notice what I did with that free time that I had fought so hard for. I filled it with something. I genuinely did not know what rest was, even at such a young age. It's literally as if I came out of the womb instilled with the idea that I had to earn my worth by working. But, that's another newsletter. Here's how deep it went. When I had my emergency surgery, the one where I had almost died, and the surgeon told me that it was going to be 12 weeks of recovery, my first question was, how long until I can go back to work? How long until I can produce again? 2 weeks later, I was walking on the treadmill, and 3 weeks later, I was back gigging, making Nick carry every piece of equipment while I stood there, feeling like absolute garbage. And at one point, I literally felt like I was about to pass out while I was singing. But I still stayed because I had to prove that I could do it. To who? That's a really great question. I'm still working on that one. Then I left the fire department and I started this business. And I'm going to be frank with you. I'm pretty sure I walked out of one burnout and directly into another. I was so locked in on building programs to help you not burn out that I completely lost the plot on what it meant for me not to burn out. Isn't that hilarious that we do that even in healing? Especially in healing, I guess. Same engine, prettier paint job. Always give 100%, optimize the recovery, perfect the nervous system regulation, grind at not grinding. And the internet will just tell you it's your ADHD. That's just the type of person that you are. And all or nothing, and you just can't change it. I'm sure that there's probably a meme for it. I'm pretty sure my sisters probably shared it with me. There's always a meme, right? No, it's just the unhealed self, running on a set of societal rules that taught us that our worth is measured in our output. Rules that we absorbed so early that we mistook them for our personality. So we just keep producing, no matter what our body is screaming at us. And the body is always screaming. We just got really, really good at calling it something else: ambition, discipline, drive. And sometimes those things are real. And sometimes they're just fear wearing a really good outfit. So here's where I've actually landed. If you've been following along for the last few weeks, you've watched two threads keep showing up: take our time and simplicity. They weren't a content strategy, they were a symptom of me finally actually listening. And they've made their way into everything, including how I now work with people. Burn the Blueprint is still here, and I still believe in it 100%. The self-paced identity reset, the brain spotting sessions, the whole thing. It does exactly what it says it does. It gets underneath the blueprint that you were handed, and it lets you put it down, put down the rule book. And the first week is still free, so you can go ahead and feel for it yourself before you decide on anything. There's nothing to prove to me at the door. But I've also opened up something new alongside it. Me walking with you. Not a curriculum, not a finish line. This one's for when you're just done. Done being burned out. Done being tired in a way that sleep just doesn't touch. Done sacrificing pieces of yourself for a system that has never once given back. And it's not going to start now. I'm not going to hand you a worksheet about it. I'm going to be right there next to you. giving you permission to live your own fucking life. Because you've already worked hard. You've been working hard since you were a kid. The problem was never effort. The problem is that you were told the life that you're working for gets handed to us at the end. And I'd like for you to have it now. That's the deal we were sold, right? Grind now, freedom later, freedom at 65, freedom when you've earned it. I almost died at an age where later would have been a lie. And we deserve to live our lives now, not at the finish line, not once our body is decrepit and already spent, sacrificed to a system that literally never gave back anything once. It took the good years, handed us a pension and a bad hip. This is our life, ours, not our bosses, not our parents, not the version of us that some institution needed us to be. And there is nothing to prove. There never was. That was the con the whole time. Honestly, in a society built on overproduction, the most rebellious thing that we can do is learn how to rest. Not optimize it, not biohack it, not stack it with cold plunges and supplement protocols that we're spending copious amounts of money on, and a wearable that grades your sleep like a fucking report card that we outlived in high school, because that's just the same machine with better marketing. I mean, actual rest, the unimpressive kind, the kind that nobody claps for. That's true rebellion. So you can book a call with me, we can figure it out together, or you can grab the first week of Burn the Blueprint for free. Either way, this week's practice is going to be a simple one, but not easy. And if it's easy for you, you're either doing it wrong or you're already free. So then I want you to tell me your secret. So first step, find your proof. Ask yourself one question. What am I still trying to prove, and to who? Don't philosophize it. The first answer that comes straight to your mind. Write it down. It's usually embarrassingly specific. A parent, a coach, a boss, maybe a version of you at 14 who was told that they were only valuable when you were useful. Number 2, book the hour. Actually put it on your calendar, maybe on your phone calendar. 1 hour this week. Treat it like a shift that you can't miss, because your nervous system only respects things that look like obligations right now. We'll work up to freedom. Number 3, produce nothing. Nothing that generates output in that hour. No podcast in your ears that counts as learning. No walk that's secretly cardio. No cleaning. No resting productively. You are not allowed to come out of this hour with anything to show for it. That's the entire point. Absolutely nothing. And then number 4, let it suck. Around minute 11 or 12, you're probably going to get really itchy, really restless, maybe a little angry. That's not boredom. It's your nervous system detoxifying from a lifetime of usefulness as safety. And say it out loud. This is uncomfortable and I am not in danger. Breathe out longer than you breathe in and just sit with it. And then number 5, notice what comes up for you. When the hour ends, note what showed up. Was it guilt? Was it grief? A to-do list that you suddenly had to write down? That's your data. That's the thing that's running the show. You just met it with the noise on top. And finally, number 6, do it again next week. Once is an experiment in data. Doing it in repetition is rewiring your nervous system. And then if you're new here, this week didn't come out of nowhere. If you just landed in this inbox, 2 things are worth backing up for. Last week, I wrote about not being rushable, about living on your own clock instead of borrowing someone else's. That one was the crack in the wall. So this week is what came pouring through it. You can watch it on YouTube or listen on your favorite podcast platforms. And then over on Hustle Rebels podcast, I sat down with the women behind Interval Paper to talk about their Good Enough guide and how they reframed something that I truly have been actually getting wrong for years. How good enough isn't lowering the bar. It's not settling. It's not slacking. It's not the participation trophy version of life. It's learning to love yourself exactly how you are right now. And that doing that doesn't drop the bar at all. It actually raises it, because it turns out you build better things when you're not building them to earn your own approval, which is a hell of a thing to hear when you've spent 30 years of proving. You can also watch that one on YouTube or listen on your favorite podcast platform. And if you're feeling nostalgic, you can read the previous newsletters by checking them out following the link to the weekly recharge newsletter in the show notes. 12-year-old me thought that working was how you became someone. I'm still unlearning her, slowly, simply, but again, taking my time. And you're allowed to do the same. See you guys next week.